little blunt one time. Sip a little drink, get drunk one time, yeah. Tryna make you up and up one time. Hit the lean, pull you up a double cup one time, yeah. One time, one time, one time, one time, yeah. One time, one time, one time, one time, yeah. Smoke a little blunt.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shana K, and I'm back with another video. I have not put up any videos in a while because I was feeling a little uninspired because I wanted to go in a different direction, basically do the video that I'm doing right now, and I didn't know how to like execute it without at the time feeling like, I didn't want to like offend anybody, because some of the stuff I'm gonna talk about, probably affected other people, probably not more than myself and my siblings, but they're gonna feel some kind of way, I'm sure. But that's fine. This is my story. This is how I lived it. This is how I remember it, so I'm not gonna embellish on anything or fabricate anything. I'm gonna just tell it exactly how I remember it. Okay. Also, before we get into anything, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, put your comments down below, turn on your post notifications. Now, your post notifications is going to be very important because I'm going to do this video as I don't want to call it a series or anything, but this video alone is going to be a 2-part video. And basically, it's going to be about my experience in foster care. And it's a lot to cover, so I'm going to break it up into 2 videos. Also, I'm going to do if you want to call it a prequel or whatever, like how we ended up in foster care in the first place. That's going to be a whole different video. And then life after foster care. Okay, so I want to get right into it because, like I said, it's a whole lot to cover. If I look down, it's because I jotted some stuff down. I get scatterbrained sometimes. So it's really, definitely when I'm talking about these kind of situations, well, this situation in particular, period, is really touchy. So I want to get right into it. I'm going to look at what I got first. Okay. So first I started off with arriving at my first foster home. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to give y'all there's going to be a whole nother video, the whole backstory of how I got there, what happened for me to be in one, and all of that, So, okay. Now, it was myself and my oldest sister, and I have, at the time, I have 5 siblings on my mom's side in total. It's 4 of us. Scatterbrain. Scattered brain. It's 5 of us in total, but excluding me, it's 4. I have 4 siblings on my mother's side, and we all were put into the system. Myself, my oldest sister, and then I have a sister that is younger than me. We were placed in one home together, and then we have a baby sister. So there's my oldest sister, then there's me, and then I have a 3rd oldest sister, and then there's the baby girl. Us oldest 3 was put into a home together, and the baby girl was separated, and she went elsewhere. So our first location. Now, with some of these people, I'm gonna say certain people names. With some, I'm not, because like I said, I know a lot of these people still, and I know how they are, and they are not open, and they are still hiding behind a lot of stuff. So I would rather not say their name out loud, but this woman in particular, I will say her name, because I'm not gonna even lie. Back then, I was 7 years old, mind you. I was 7 years old when I was put into foster care system, and she was like, I'm not kidding, she had to be like 70 then, like 70-ish, like 70 plus. So I doubt she's still around. I have literally never heard from her or known for her ever again. We have like no ties or no connections. So I will say her name, and her name was Miss Davis. That was our first placement in foster care. was Miss Davis' house. Oh my God, y'all. I'm going to start off with arriving there. We arrived there, myself and my other two sisters. If I was 7, my oldest sister was probably 10, and then my youngest sister, I believe, would have been 5. So we got there. Of course, we're terrified and curious and trying to figure out what's happening to us, because this is the first time in our life that we are being with people that we have never seen before. You know, when you're 7 years old, you around nothing but nothing but familiar faces. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we are being brought over by our social worker, who was a guy. I remember his name. His name was Scott Ebert. He actually was a very nice man, at least towards me and my sisters. When my biological mother speaks about him, I don't think she likes him very much. But like I said, as he used to always tell me and my siblings, he works for us and he doesn't work for my mom. So it was okay if she didn't like him. Okay, so he brought us over here and he was telling us, like, you know, she's an older lady. She's a nice lady. I've placed with her before, da-da-da. So we like, okay, cool, whatever. And although we were young, we were really smart and we were really intuitive. We knew what was going on. We were very aware for the most part. So we get there, we get to the house. And if I remember right, and like I said, sometimes I get scatterbrained. I feel like her house was brown. She had like a brown, and it was either brown and white or brown and yellow. Or maybe it was just brown. But I just remember it being like a dark brown house. So instantly I was just like, okay, this house looked creepy from the outside. So we get in, you know, he introduced us to her. It was like a very short, sweet drop off. You know, he introduced us. These are the girls. She introduced herself. She told us to come in. She showed us where we were going to sleep. And I remember instantly when I went in her home, I knew that her house was very unkept. Like, it was very... Have you ever been to somebody's house that's not exactly dirty, but it's junky? Like, it was like that. Like, her house wasn't dirty, but it was junky. But now that I'm older, I will probably definitely be like, her house was dirty. For me, I don't know. But it wasn't filthy. It was just extremely junky, unkept, messy, you know. And she had roaches. She actually had real roaches, big ones too, and babies, and little cousins, and half cousins. It was a family, okay? It was a neighborhood of roaches in that house. But like I said, the first night was fine. You know, I don't even think I probably seen a roach right away the first night. The first night was kind of like a, you know how you be nervous until you get to a place, you be like, okay, I'm just taking it all in. This is where we gonna be. And it was, I remember the room. It was towards the back of the house. You had to go through the living room, and then it was a little walkway. It was the kitchen, and then you had to go through the kitchen, and it was a back room. And in the back room, it was 2 beds. I don't remember it being a TV in there. I don't believe it was. It was like a dresser. It was a couple of old board games or something, maybe like that she kept in her room. It wasn't nothing special, you know. It was a window in there, and I just remember the view was her backyard, which once again wasn't anything special because she didn't live necessarily in the best of neighborhoods at the time. And I don't remember the street, but she didn't live far from I used to go to this elementary school called Frederick Douglass, and she didn't live far from there because I was still able to walk to school. So once I think about it'll come back to me. I'll probably put it in the part 2 video if I remember what street that was. And of course, this is for my family that's watching back home. They know who the street is. I got subscribers that's not even from my hometown, which is Wisconsin. But I have to remember exactly her location. But it wasn't the best location. And I really used to hate looking back there at night because I always felt like it was creepy. It was so dark in that backyard. But anywho, we stayed there for a little while, and we hated it. And we did not like, I don't want to say we hated her, but we did not like her either. She was not the nicest to us. she was like a really heavy set woman, and she wore this like jerry curl, really short jerry curl. It used to stink up the whole house. And not that it mattered, because she could have had a jerry curl and been really nice, but she had a jerry curl and was really mean. So that just made me not like her anymore, even more. And I feel like she made it her business to wherever, like, because I think we went to like church with her before, and she might have took us out like for her like shopping before. And I feel like every time somebody asks like, oh, are these your grandbabies, or are these your daughters or something, and she'd be like, nah, these my foster kids. And like she was like very like insensitive to, I think, how it made us feel, because you know how even now as an adult, when I know that children are being taken away from their parents for whatever reason, you're going to automatically think these are troubled kids. These kids have suffered some sort of a trauma. These kids are probably like come from a bad family, so they don't know anything about, you know, proper etiquette, and you know what I mean. These are just troubled kids, and though. That's why I said I'm gonna do another video with how we got it in the first place, because we were so not those kids. We were not troubled kids. We had a mother who loved us dearly, and we had a family who has its issues, but nevertheless they did love us, some of them. And but there were problems. And my mom did the best she could. That's another video. And I just feel like it would be very embarrassing to us, you know, that she would do that a lot of the times. She never cooked. It was this little, I think it was black owned, because I think this was her like relatives or something. And it was a little place right across the street. I don't know if it was like a gyro hut or something like that, but it was like they served like gyros and cheeseburgers and fries. It was like a little fast food joint. And we ate there probably every night. Now, to start off with, that was awesome, because, you know, as a kid, you always want to eat takeout. You always want to eat fast food. But it got to the point like, okay, boil some corn, put some corn on the stove, put some broccoli in a pot. You know what I mean? And it was just weird for us. So like after a while, it started making us really sick to eat like that all the time. So, you know, we'd go to bed sometime and just wouldn't eat, because it would be like, she'd be like, what do y'all want to eat? And we'd tell her like, I guess a gyro or a burger or a fry, because she's not going to cook. And so she would get really mad with us, because sometimes we'd be like, we don't want anything. And she'd be like, y'all gotta eat. Y'all gonna get me in trouble if y'all don't eat. You know, and we'd be like, well, we're fine. Like, we don't want to eat that. So we'd be okay. So she would get like really frustrated with us, and, you know, and then like, she was older, and she had these kids that was with her for a while, I think like before us. And she would always like compare us to these kids, like whoever these girls was, like those are my babies, I love them. And I guess they went back with their mother or whatever. And she will be really upset that we were very guarded. That's the word I'm looking for. We were very guarded as children, because we didn't know her and we didn't trust her, you know, very young, because we were exposed to so much so young. So it was kind of like, yeah, we don't know you, even if she was, because she'd be nice one minute, she'd be mean other minute. So I think it would bother her sometimes. Like, we wouldn't let her comb our hair, you know what I'm saying? And I would always, my older sister, she was combing my hair, and I used to think it was fine, but she was combing my hair with lotion, honey. Like, lotion, brush, ponytails probably was looking all crazy. But I would never let this woman in my hair, because like I said, she was very mean, and she would just say stuff that you wouldn't say to a kid. You know what I'm saying? She would just say stuff and make comments about us, and she was just all around very mean to us. You know, she didn't make us feel comfortable. You know, like I said, the roaches greeted us at the door. And I don't want to come off as sounding like I'm being ungrateful, because she did open her home to us, you know, and have us there, but she didn't make us feel comfortable. You know, when you are a foster parent, I feel like in a way you are part of the rehabilitation of these kids, whether we have personal issues or we were exposed to personal, you know, stuff, not personal stuff, but stuff that we shouldn't been exposed to at that age. Your house supposed to be a safe haven. You know, we were supposed to feel loved, and it wasn't there, you know. So like I said, we wasn't there very long. I remember this one time in particular. We had this teacher. His name was Mr. Leonard, and he really loved me and my sisters. You know, we was at our school from kindergarten up, so they knew us, and they got really close to my family, so they kind of knew what was going on, and they were concerned. And I remember he'll be like, you know, ask your foster mom, it's okay if I take you guys out to eat one night. And we did. We asked her, and she told us, yeah. I remember her telling us, yeah, but like I said, she was elderly, so I'm thinking maybe in her mind she forgot, or maybe I don't remember. And he took us out for Chinese. I remember he dropped us off, and when that door swung open, because we went directly after school, so when that door swung open, she cursed that man out. You stay away from these kids, or I'm gonna call the police on you. I think she called him maybe like a pervert, or like something, like as if he was like a child molester or a kidnapper. And he was just like, look, lady, like, you know, this is white guy, and you know what I'm saying. Let me see what this kid doing. Hold on. What do you need? What do you need? Okay, so I forgot where I was, but I think I was talking about my teacher. But yeah, he was like this white guy, and he was really nice and stuff. And this lady like threatening him and saying he like a kidnapper and a child molester and stuff like that. So we was like freaking out, because we like, no, Miss Leonard, we love him. Like, don't mistreat him and stuff like that. So she and by the end we was just kind of over her, like, and her shenanigans. And when I say them out loud, sometimes, like I said, it don't seem like as much, but you had to be there. It was a feeling. Like, she never let us watch kid shows. We always had to watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Walker Texas Ranger. She was like she wasn't abusive or anything, and she made sure we was fed, and you know, but she was older. And we were young kids, and I think that we gave her a run for our money and vice versa. You know, like I said, she wasn't very nice to us. She was very snippy. You know how older people, they get old and ornery, and they just, you know, go sit down somewhere, you know. And we was always in a dark house, and don't cut the lights on, and the roaches, you know, love the dark, so they playing in the dark, and we sticking cotton balls in our ears because we scared that the roaches going in our ears. And you know, she was just, you know, older. And, you know, so I remember we talked to our caseworker or social worker, Scott Eber, and we explained, you know, what was going on and the conditions. And I think the feeling was mutual, because I think he talked to her, and I think she did say, like, she didn't want us there anymore. They're not happy here. I don't think we stayed there more than like a month. It felt like a year, but it was probably just like a month. And, actually, my younger sister that's under me, I have all my siblings are under me with the exception of one. I'm the second oldest. So I believe her father did what he had to do, and because she has a good father, when he got wind of what happened and that she was taken away and stuff, he came and got her. So she literally was probably in foster care a week, maybe 2 weeks, you know, so he could, you know, it's like a process to do what you have to do to get your kids. And once he found out we were taken from my mom, he came and got his child. But so everything I'm telling you from the 2-week point, which we was still kind of fresh there, is I experienced just with my older sister. So like I said, we talked to our caseworker, social worker, whatever you want to call him, and he was like, I'm gonna see what I can do. I want you guys to be happy and da 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 da. And I was just like, yay, or whatever. So like, I must came in from school, or it was something like that, me and my sister, And she was just like, yeah, you guys are gonna go to a different home. They found a place for y'all, and y'all gonna get up out of, you know, older people, y'all gonna get up out of here. I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. So we ended up leaving, and Scott, I remember him telling us, like, this lady is very nice. She's a younger lady. She has 3 sons of her own. The neighborhood is a lot nicer. You guys might end up having to change your school because she lived up away from the area that our school was more so in the inner city. She lived more going towards the outer, well, put it like this. Miss Davis was in the hood, and at the time, this lady was not. So she was like, get up out the hood. So we went. I remember pulling up in front of her house, my sister and myself, looking at the house, and remember thinking, like, you know, wow, this is a really nice house, because, you know, growing up the way we grew up, you know, we always had clean houses. Our families always kept clean houses, but at the time, 90% of my family lived in, like, the most impoverished neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee, okay? So, not that they were impoverished necessarily, but they lived in what we call the hood. They, like, lived in the hood, whether they had a good job or didn't. You know, it was kind of like mix and match. Some of them did, some of them didn't. They still lived in, like, rougher areas. So to see everybody had lawns, and everybody, you know what I'm saying, blinds wasn't sheets or broken up or whatever, you know, you'd be kind of like, oh, you know, it was like a breath of fresh air, you know, and it was comforting to see that, oh, this is not Miss Davis' house, you know. So this is just everything that's going in my little head getting out this car, okay? Get to the car. I remember he walked us to the front door, and we seen her, and I remember thinking, she is really pretty. Like, she was, like I said, she was a younger woman at the time. She was probably the age I am now that I think about it. Because this is like 25 years ago. You know, this would have been like 25, almost 25 years ago, all of this stuff happened. So she was probably like in her 30s, early 30s or something. And I just remember being like, wow, she's really pretty. And she had a very soft, nice, like, her voice even was nice, you know. And she was like, hi. I'm not going to say her name. She was like, I'm Miss such and such, and y'all come on in. And we came in. Like I said, it was short and brief. We had my kid, he's playing with his train track, and he gets very frustrated easy. So if y'all hear him screaming in the background, he's not hurt. He gets mad when his trains slip off the track. So I even had to stop myself from running in there every time, because he used to freak me out when he used to do that, but he's fine. Yeah, so she invited us in. Like I said, it was short and brief. You know, that we'll go over a few things, that we introduce ourselves, and Scotta go over some things with her, and then he left. Okay, first things first. She was like, y'all could drop them bags right there. I'm throwing them in the wash. Which, it reminded me so much of my mother, because that's how my mother was. Like I said, we grew up in the neighborhoods where a lot of our family members did have roaches, you know, but we didn't have roaches. So it'd be like, when we would come from certain people's house, my mama used to be like, drop them clothes right there, because I'm putting them in the wash. You know, we ain't bringing no roaches up in here. So I don't even know if she knew we had roaches, but she just assumed she was not going to play. So I remember her washing up our clothes. She, I even remember our first meal. Like, she had made like some baked chicken, and I think it was like mashed potatoes or something, right? We made it in pretty late, because I remember we did not meet her sons until like the next day. But while we were sitting at the table eating our food, I remember they was poking their heads out of the room. I could see them like peeping around the corner, like kind of trying to get a good look at us, and probably see what we looked like and who we were and stuff like that. So I remember being like, boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, boys got on my nerves. I was 7, so at the time, I think I was in like I was going to the 3rd grade. I would have been going to the no, I was in the 3rd grade because I was going on 8. My birthday is late, so I'm always younger than everybody in my class. I was going to the 4th grade. I was in the 3rd, but I was going to the 4th grade. But I remember thinking in my head, like, oh, boys, because they got on my nerves at school. They got on my nerves at school. He's at my door. Yes. What do you need? Don't come in here with that train track, because I know what you're gonna try to do. He coming in here with it. Then he gonna get mad. And he gonna be screaming in my whole video. If you come in here, you come in here quiet. Okay. So, so basically, they fight to no end. So basically, like I said, I remember her son poking their head out, and she ran me and my sister a bath. She put us both in a bath together, or whatever. She washed our hair and stuff, and I remember she put us to bed, and I remember my sister and I saying to each other, like, I think we gonna like it here. I remember us saying that, like, because it was so just, at the time, it was so different from what we was accustomed to. I do remember her oldest son coming in the room that night, and he had like all these tools for some reason, and I guess he called himself like trying to make us laugh or be funny or something. But I remember him being like, see the screwdriver? I'll pluck your eyes out with it. And he was like, you see this wrench? I'll do this to you with it. Like, he was trying to be funny, but as little girls, we looking at each other like. And I remember us saying to each other that night, me and my sister still laugh about this. I remember we was like, we think we gonna like it here. But we was like, but we don't like her son. We don't like her older son. I remember us saying that, like, we don't like him. We ain't gonna like him. So, anyways, next day, I believe, you know, we get into the routine of the way the house is. She did our hair for us, and about that time, we started being able to get monitored visitation with our mom, like every other week or something like that. You know, she was really into the church. She still is. So we were at church regularly. And at the time, I feel like, I don't want to get too into her personal business, but at the time I think she was going through like a divorce maybe with her husband. So we would see him off and on or whatever. So it was moments where I would feel like maybe we came into a situation that already was festering, and it had nothing to do with us. You know, it was just that she was going through her own thing. He wasn't living there, but I just remember him being in and out at the time. They were like maybe at the end of their marriage or something. He was a very nice man to me. He's always been very friendly to me and my sister, so no bad words about him. But so we was really into the church. You know, we started adjusting to life, like I said, in this house. Now, our first night when we stayed there, we slept upstairs. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs. One is hers, one was her 2 sons, and then the other ones was what we thought was our bedroom at the time. But shortly after, we ended up being moved down to the basement. Now, I'm not talking about a creaky, leaky basement. She did have a finished basement. But nevertheless, it was the basement. You know, we were 2 little girls, you know what I mean? So it was kind of odd for us at first, you know. She had like a futon for us, and we would sleep on the futon in the basement. Like I said, it wasn't a creaky, leaky basement. It was carpeted. It was a finished basement. She had a in-home child care, so it was fixed for that as well. And it was kind of like a family room, and it was kind of like a sitting room or whatever you want to call it, / our bedroom. So, that was that or whatever. Like I said, we were adjusting to having brothers because I grew up with nothing but sisters. I do have 2 brothers. By the time my younger brother was not born, and my brother on my father's side, I wasn't around him at all, until we got much older. I didn't really meet my brother on my father's side until I was like 29. It's literally been like over a year ago. You being very disruptive. Yes, so. What do you need? What? Okay, that's a very nice truck, but what do you need? So, now my son is in a room. But, so, where was I? Oh, we were adjusting to, living there, having brothers and stuff like that, which was an overrated experience. Oh, Lord. They was not the nicest to us growing up. And we had our moments where we would bond and we would be fine or whatever. But a lot of times I felt like, I don't know if they understood. I feel like maybe they should have had maybe their mom did. I don't know, I can't say, but had to sit down and explain that we were really delicate and we're going through like a delicate situation. But kids can be just cruel sometimes. And I remember a lot of their friends lived in the neighborhood and a lot of their school friends lived in the neighborhood because we had a school literally maybe a block up and over from where we lived, and that ended up being my school too. I graduated from there, so did my sister. So everybody knew everybody over there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the neighborhood lived there. And went to that school that lived in that neighborhood. So, these times, they'd go outside and play with their friends, and a couple of them were girls. So we like, oh, okay. Like, we're going outside to play. And they would be like trying to like avoid us, or they didn't want us to come, or when they friends would be like, who is that? Like, who are they? And they'd be like, those are our foster sisters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was just like kind of over us, and I feel like they didn't like really want us around sometimes. So that first year was kind of rough for us because it was just like we had to, kind of plant our own little seeds and make our own little friends and stuff like that, because they already had their life established. And sometimes I feel like we would get kind of like pushed back to the wayside a lot of the times, And, in our mind, the way we grew up in a really close-knit family. So all the cousins and all the sisters and brothers, we all played together. So we wasn't used to people like teasing us or, I always had like really big eyes, and my eyes is actually what most people see about me, and I get my most compliments from my eyes actually, and my smile. But they would like tease me and say like my eyes were really big. So this is where I learned anything about being insecure. I learned in this house. You know what I mean? Having a complex, I learned in this house. You know what I mean? So it was like, they would like tease me and say my eyes were really big, tease me and say my head was really big. Stuff that as a little kid, you don't pay attention to. I come from a family that always lifted me up and said how beautiful I was. And then I got around these people who I think is great because their house is clean, and I think are perfect because they go to church, and I think mom is great because she's this, beautiful woman with this sweet voice. And then you have these little kids, and I'm not executing them because they were kids. Kids are cruel. I've been a cruel kid, but I'm just saying, like I said, this is my experience. So it was really tough sometimes being around them and being the laughing stock of their friends and being teased by them and their friends. And they would really tease my older sister a lot. You know, I always thought my older sister was like the most beautiful girl. She was just like really skinny and super tall and just awkward but great. And they would really tease her, and it would really get, now me, I always been a firecracker, but she was very sensitive, so it would really get under her skin. They would say like she had a big nose and big lips, and she had the most beautiful lips, full lips I've ever seen. I want her lips because I got these little bitty, my dad gave me these little bitty bird lips, and she was just a really pretty girl. But I just felt like, once again, we ain't never been called ugly before. We ain't never been teased before. You know what I'm saying? And we get around these people, and that's how they treat each other. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like a big deal. So that was like the first red flag, I think, that we experienced in the house, was the teasing and you know, being poked at and being made fun of by what is supposed to be our foster brothers or our brothers, or however you want to say it. Hey, no, we don't eat off the floor. Hey, no, nice, nasty. No, stop this. No, you need a haircut. Stop it. You can't eat off the floor though, okay? Stop it. You can't eat off the floor. So, yeah, that was pretty tough. We ended up changing churches. I don't remember why. We ended up switching churches, and because my foster mom she sings, and I think we switched churches because she was going to become the choir director of this church. We ended up going with her, of course, to the church, and actually we all ended up getting in the choir, and we ended up becoming members of this church. And this is where I met some of the most wonderful people that I still consider family now. First of all, this is my, excuse me, sir. This is my video. Thank you. I met some of the most wonderful people there. And this is where we kind of, like those seeds I was talking about that needed to be planted. This is the first time where we had our own friends. We got to meet our own friends because we all was the new people. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, how can I, if I had to explain my first year with this family, it was like, have y'all ever came to a school in the middle of the school year and you're the new kid, excuse me, and everybody, thank you, darling, and everybody have their cliques already made and they bonds already made. So when you come in, you're just trying to find your place. And that's how it was our first year there, you know. But when we moved, they all came to this new church and had this new church family, and being around all these new people, it was kind of like the first day of school. You know, everybody nervous, everybody trying to find a place, but everybody did it at the same time, okay? So that was like a breath of fresh air for my sister and I, because we were like, oh, okay. So we met all these like little church girls that had to be in church all the time too. So we had friends, and because like, mind you, like when you're in foster care, you can't do things that like a normal kid would do. Like even her children could go spend a night away places, and a lot of times we couldn't because it had to be authorized. Like you can't just go now down the line, and I'll get to that. It would be times that she'd just go ahead and let us spend a night certain places, but it definitely had to be like authorized places before we could go. So we didn't get to see like anybody outside of people that we went to school with, and then we had to go home or whatever. So it was nice to see other people that we went to church with and regularly, because we used to have church on Friday, and then we would have sometime we would have choir rehearsal on Friday nights, as well as then we would have YPWW. Then we used to have prayer on Wednesdays, and then on Sundays we had Bible study, and then we'd have to come back for night service. So we was at church a lot. we were at church a lot. And like I said, my foster mom was the choir director, so we spent a lot of time being in the church practicing and, you know, stuff like that with the choir or whatever have you. And that part was cool. That was actually really nice. I enjoyed church. But once again, things start kind of leaning to the, you know, other way. You know, of course, the teasing, the, you know, who are them? Instead of being like, oh, those my sisters, oh, they're my foster sisters. You know, and of course, when people would ask that question, when you would tell somebody that they're going to want to ask the question, well, why they in the foster system? Why they in foster care? You know, I hated that. I hated that. You know what I'm saying? And my foster mom would do it too. You know, she'd be like, those my foster daughters. Like, you know, dang, just be like my daughters. Say some. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I guess now I get it. Because we was a foster sisters and was a foster daughters. But it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know. But you're about to leave. Because I'm trying to talk. And you being disruptive.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Be quiet. So, I feel like it started to kind of cause a wedge in the way we all communicated with one another, because we would be angry about stuff like that, but we didn't know how to say it. So they used to be like, y'all always got an attitude, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And then, you okay? So then basically, like I said, we would, be mad at one another, like little small stuff. They were, and the oldest brother, he was like a lot older than us, and he definitely was a bully. A lot of times when my foster mom would not be home, he would do all the unauthorized things. So there were certain rules. We had a rule, like, we are like my kids are total spoiled, but we had breakfast, we had lunch, and we had dinner. And if we wanted a snack, she'd be like, get an apple. And we used to hate that. We used to be like, get an apple. We already know what she gonna say, get an apple. But she was, like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm not taking up for her. But when you get older and you become a mother and a wife or a homemaker, period, you start learning that it was probably more so for survival, I think. But she was very strict on like how we ate, how much we ate, when we ate, and like if like for example Pop-Tarts. If Pop-Tarts come in a pack, it's 2 in a pack. We only could eat 1 out the pack. You know what I'm saying? Like with instant oatmeal, you know, it'd be like this much in the instant oatmeal, but we only could eat 1 pack. You know, and I think this was all black households, you only could have 1 box of cereal open. So my foster brothers would get up at the crack of dawn when she would go grocery shopping so she can open, so they could pick which one they want open first. You know, so it'd be like we'd be stuck eating whatever cereal they decided to open first. They were really jerky like that. They were brothers, like they were twats. They really got on my nerves, little twigs sometimes. And they would do stuff like that, and it would be tough sometimes too, like little stuff. Like I said, I might be a little scatterbrain, but I'm just saying it how I remember it. It would be times that, you know, they'd be having their family times upstairs and me and my sister downstairs in the basement alone. You know, and it will really suck, you know what I'm saying? Because we all in all, we just wanted to be loved because we were children, you know, so we still needed to be nurtured. We were very young kids. Like I said, I was 7 when I came to this woman's house, you know, so it would be just, it was just like picking your poison. Like we left a situation, but we came in a situation, you know what I'm saying? So I know the stuff I'm saying, you know, y'all probably like, that ain't even that bad. Yeah, I'm not done. But, so, of course, you know, get out. Get out of my room. Get out of my room. What? No. Okay, I'm back. This one here is just, whew, he working me. But, like I said, the stuff I'm telling you now this is like look in the kid world. This is stuff I experienced with the kids. You know what I'm saying? They were just, like I said, wasn't very nice to us. They would tease us and pull pranks on us and, you know, scare us. Sometimes I used to call them her minions. And it's funny they came out with a Minion movie many years later, but I used to call them her minions because I feel like anything we did or anything we wasn't doing, I feel like they would report back to her a lot of the times. And it could be like the smallest thing. Like, it'll be a certain time that she'll be like, y'all gotta have the TVs off by this time. And we, like I said, we slept downstairs in the basement, and that was like the main TV in the house. You know what I'm saying? I think they might have had a TV in their room, but their room was upstairs with her room. So she'd hear and know if they was on, you know, up watching the TV still. And a lot of times they would make sure, like, Susila and LaShonda still got the TV on. Like, they were like that. They were like, the kids would call them tattletales. Like, they would always, or they'd sneak down the stairs and be peeping around to make sure, like, we laying down. And, like, they would just do, like, little stuff like that. Like, they were just, like, really annoying like that sometimes. And, we don't need your sound effects. Thank you, sir. Your cute face. You're so adorable. But, you know, they were just, like, really annoying. But like I said, I'm still not getting all in my body about it, because I looked at it as like we was all siblings fighting. And maybe I never had brothers, but I get in this house with brothers because I have friends who have brothers, and they be like, I hated my brothers. They were just aggravating as hell. And maybe it was just like that having brothers. I don't know, but they sucked. Okay. And they wasn't those brothers that when people would tease us or make fun of us, you know, take up for us, they would join. They would join. That's how they were. They would join. So, it was kind of like sucky being around them a lot of times. You know what I mean? And then, what's something else that I can talk about before I get into like the heavy stuff? Yeah, maybe I should just get into it. So maybe within the first, well, let me tell you about some of the sweet stuff they would do. We started being able to get weekend visitation with my mother. Okay, well, we were able to spend a night overnight with her from Friday to Sunday, and they would come get us on Sundays. And every Sunday we would come, we would be disappointed because we got to come back to being in this house with no one that we are related to. My foster brothers tease me to no end. We call it ribbing. Rib me to no end. Pick with me to no end. And it'd be like, you know, I gotta leave my mommy and I gotta come and be with this family. So we would be really disappointed when we would get picked up. And I remember a comment being made before, I don't know if it was by my foster mom, but I feel like it was like, you know, every time y'all come from over there, y'all got an attitude. I'm gonna stop y'all from spending the night because y'all always come back with a nasty attitude, you know? And I remember thinking in my head, like, we were kids and we were disappointed with leaving our mother. You should be trying to uplift us. So I don't know if God heard my prayer. And like after that, I remember they would. I guess she might have told the boys, like, you know, when they get in the car, try to make them laugh. I noticed that they be down or whatever when they come from their mouth. So they used to try to like do little stuff like that, like make crack jokes and make us laugh. And that's the stuff I remember too. Cause let's be clear. Like I said, I don't want people to think that it was all bad, but it was bad. And when it was bad, it was horrible. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be those times where you'd be like, you know, but I do remember this, but I do remember that. You know, it's kind of evenly remembered in my mind anyway. But I'll say, you know, like I said, I was 7, but I developed really early. I was about like, I think I was like 9 when I started getting like the buds. Not quite boobs, but buds. And I don't know what was going on with him or what was going on in his mind, but very early, I remember being there because I came there at 7, and when I left I was 11. And I remember it was either the beginning of the second year of me living there or the end of the first year, but I was molested almost all the time. It pretty much until I left. And I didn't find out until after I left that so was my sister. She never told me. She never said anything about it. I kind of figured it because I thought like, well, I know if it was happening to me, it was happening to her. You know what I'm saying? And she never like confirmed it is what I should say. She never confirmed it. But that situation is what made that house the house of horrors for me. And I kind of gave y'all, like, I know we are into this video, you know, but I wanted to give you guys the foundation of how this family was. You know, this was a church-going family. Their mother was a divorcee of 3 sons. She was doing the best she could. She had her little business that she was, you know, and she got probably for another extra income. She taking these foster kids, and yeah, that's it. That's the picture. And she had this older son who I believe he probably easily was 7 years older than me. Maybe more, because if I was like 7, 8, I remember him being like 14 and 15. So like he was like much older. He like right now he should be definitely pushing 40. But yeah, he was the biggest bully. I'm gonna start there. Before any of the molestation started, he was the biggest bully. And that's why I am an advocate on teasing and bullying and all that. I don't play that, because a lot of times y'all have to watch signs. And the signs are the people that's always, you know, remember when your mom used to be like, he like you, that's why he pick on you. Yeah, that's like real, but in a Freddy Krueger kind of way. You know, a lot of times guys will really pick on girls and pick on kids, and even watch y'all uncles, even watch y'all cousins, and even watch, you know, because mine went on as long as it did because it was in my family. It wasn't my biological family, but I lived in this house. This is somebody that you trusting around your other kids or foster kids, so it was able to go on. You know, those are people that you don't trust either. Your family members, you be cautious of anybody around your daughters and then your sons too. You know, that's just something I wanted to say real quick. You know, I'm really big on that because the signs were obvious to me, but I guess as a mother, I don't know. You know what I mean? But he was the biggest bully. He would bully. I probably have fought this guy, I don't know how many times, and I was so much smaller than him, so I probably got beat up, but I didn't care, you know. I wasn't scared of him. I don't ever remember being, like, frightened of him, but I was, and that's weird when I say it out loud, because in my heart, in my mind, I feel like I wasn't scared of him, but I was intimidated by him, and I was threatened by him, if that makes sense. So I will always be uneasy around him. And one minute he'd be really cool. He was one of those guys, like, you know, he'd be cool around us like a big bro. And then next minute he'd just be teasing us and making us feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? And it would be the times that he would be really cool or be really nice with us that's when the weird shit started happening. That's when the weird shit started happening. And like I said, my foster mother was a choir director and she's a singer. So a lot of times my kids are in and out. So if y'all hearing it, that's just my kids. They are in and out. What do you need? Cause y'all can go in y'all room. Bye. Get out. Go on. Go, Dada. You too. Go. Go play in your room. Take your train. Go. Go in your room. Go play. Bye-bye. But he's mad. But I don't like talking about this stuff around my babies. Basically, when he would be nice, like I said, that's when the weird shit start happening. And I don't know if the first time, I can't even tell you when the first time was, because it happened so often that it was just to the point that I was like, it would be like, okay, let's just get it over with. Like, because I know once he'll get his little self off, you know, he'll go head on about his business and it'll be a couple days or something like that. Now, he never penetrated me. I want to make that clear. He never penetrated me. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that if I would have stayed there longer, you know, into, like I said, becoming a young woman, becoming a teenager, I was very like a voluptuous teen, you know what I'm saying, boobs and thighs, and I definitely think it probably would have got to that point, you know what I'm saying, where he definitely, I wouldn't have let him, but he definitely would have fucking tried it. I know he would have, because at that point he it was getting too far. And it would always start off as like touching, or he would want to lay down lean on me. And mind you, like I said, I'm a kid compared to him. I'm this little kid, like, you know, so this, what are you laying your big ass head on me for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, move, but I wouldn't like really say anything, you know what I'm saying? Because this is how predators work. They put fear in you, then they be nice to you. So it was kind of like, anytime this person was nice to me, it'd be like, okay, he ain't being a jerk. He's not teasing me. Because like I said, he would be the type, he will tease you to no end. He will see that you are squirming and he will keep mess with you. And when I mean teasing, I mean humiliate you, make fun of you. I mean everything. Like, and when I mean, he would do it, like, I had like a little boyfriend, like we're like 9 and 10 years old, and he was really close with my little boyfriend's older brother, and he would like do stuff like, yeah, you need to dump her, and like, you know, and he would like break my little heart. Like, he really had this boy break up with me, like, and like laugh really loud and point like, ah, like he used to do shit like that. And like, what do you get a life, like, you know what I'm saying? So he would do stuff like that, but like I said, it would always start with a lean, and I just remember, or like a rub on the thigh, and I remember it being like really uncomfortable then, but I was like too scared to be like, get off me, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't touch me, like, you know. So I don't remember, like I said, the first time, but I could tell you about a couple times. Like, he would always like catch me. I remember our because we slept down in the basement, a lot of our clothes and stuff will be in the laundry room. And when I would go get my clothes to get dressed, and I just remember bending over one time, because it was like shelving or something, or a drawer, I don't remember, dresser it might have been, but I just remember bending over and having to get my clothes, and he came up behind me and he held me in that position. He held me, like, imagine bending over and you being held down in that position. And he literally grinded on me until he ejaculated. I remember that very clearly. And I didn't know that that's what had happened then, because I was a kid. I didn't know about ejaculation. Now that I'm a grown up, and I did learn as a kid about ejaculation because it continued. But at that very time, I did not know what happened. I just knew he stopped. And I remember being like, what just happened? Like, I knew it was weird, but I was like, what happened? And he just, like, went about his day like nothing. And I remember feeling sick, like, this is weird. You know what I mean? Because like I said, this person sits across the table from you, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner with you. This person is in the house with you. You live, you can't escape. It's like living with the goddamn devil. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. And that was that's how he would catch me. He would always catch me in a position where I was bending or alone, or it's been a few times I wasn't alone, now that I think about it. Because there's been a couple times I remember laying on the floor downstairs watching TV with the other boys. And he would do stuff like just lay right on top of me. And I remember his brothers making comments like, "You a pervert." Like they would say stuff like that, like you a perv, you a child molester. Like I feel like they knew. Like I don't know if they seen something or caught him or something like that before, and we didn't know about it. But they would like say little stuff like that, like get off her, you a little pervert, you a little, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. And like I said, so the molestation went on for a long time. You know, he was feeling on my butt, rubbing on my breasts. I didn't even have breasts. These was like knobs. And I remember it being so painful because, you know, when you're a girl and your boobs start growing and they hurt all the time. And he's like feeling on them. And like I said, of course, his favorite thing was to, with his clothes on. But he would always grind on me until he came on himself. And then I remember it got to the point, I think he just got careless because I remember I would be sleeping in bed with my sister and he would actually come downstairs in the middle of the night and sit on the side of the futon and would feel on me and my sister while we were sleeping and stuff, and would wake us out of our sleep touching on us. And I don't know if he would be like touching himself at the same time or whatever, but that's what he used to do, that a lot, quite a bit. And finally, I remember it was one of the nights we were told to go to bed, because when we went to bed, everybody had to go to bed. And once again, remember how I told y'all how my other two brothers, they were annoying, and they would make sure that if they went to bed, we had to go to bed. So they must have snuck down the stairs to see if we was up, and the goddamn devil was down there touching us, and they saw it, but we didn't know they saw it. We had no idea because, like I said, a lot of times my eyes used to be closed. I would just completely check out. I would go somewhere else until he was done. I would just go somewhere else. And I remember they must have got back upstairs, and my foster mom, she had stepped out. I don't remember exactly where. Like I said, she's a singer. I can't say that enough. So she would perform in other places, at other churches, revivals, different stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So she'd be out of the house sometime. And she came in. I heard her come in. And the boys must have told her. But I just remember kind of being awake on my sleep, like, and she called my name, Shonda, Cecilia, huh? Come here. Went upstairs, and before anything happened, somehow I knew that she knew. It was a look. I just knew that, and she was like, "What's going on?" Like, and she was like, "What's going on?" And she was like, "Is such and such touching you, or have touched you, or whatever?" And I remember being like, I didn't say nothing right away. And she was like, "Tell the truth." Like, and I remember being like, "Yeah." And I remember like, now let me go back real quick. We were still having visitations with my mom on the weekend. And I feel like I tried to tell my mom before about it, because I remember telling her, like, he be hugging me and I don't be wanting to be hugged. And she was like, "What you mean he be hugging you and you don't be wanting to be hugged?" So she kind of made it a big deal, because I remember when I would go around my family, they'd be like, "You all right? Ain't nobody messing with you, is they?" and stuff. And I'd be like, "No." And I just don't think that it was investigated and looked into enough. But I do remember Mama kind of being like, "What? Like, what's going on?" So, that did happen. And then I went into what I know now. Like I said, when you get older and you learn, you educate yourself. I was going through, really bad anxiety and like PTSD, basically. They fight. My kids in there they'll fight all day, but he's fine. I can physically see them. Their room is right across from mine. But, when I say that, I would stay at school. Mind you, school, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll be at school all day. I used to purposely stay after school So yeah, I was saying that I would stay after school purposely when I didn't have to. It used to be nighttime. I was a walker, you know, so I could walk home whenever I wanted to because my school was really close to my house. And I stopped talking. I stopped eating. I remember my foster mom being like, "What is wrong with you? Like, what's happening to you? Like, why don't you talk to me?" And like, it was to the point they knew I was not gonna ever eat my food. So my foster brothers used to be like, "I want LaShonda food." Like, they would like call dibs on it. I probably lost plenty weight because as a kid, like I said, I was a really skinny kid, so I wasn't eating anything. And except only time I would eat, I think, was at lunch. But I was so nervous. I remember walking into the house and the smell of that house made me nervous. It didn't stink. It was whatever air, and still when I smell that smell, it's like a fragrance. I don't know if it was like a plug-in or air freshener or whatever that air freshener is. It triggered the fear. It triggered the unsettledness inside of me. You know, so I'm acting out. You know, I'm very moody. I'm mean. I'm always getting in trouble. I was getting in trouble in school. Like, you know, and it was because all this stuff was going on at home. And I remember her even pulling me in her room, my foster mom I'm talking about, and she offered me these hoop earrings. They were like little gold hoop earrings. I remember, and she was like, "Here, I gotta let you have these, and you tell me what's wrong." She was trying to figure it out, far as like what was going on with me at that moment. But like I said, this a woman, she got 5 kids now. She's in this house by herself. And so I think she just be scatterbrained. You trying to keep up what's going on with everybody and stuff and still weather your own storm. So she was, you know, would kind of be like, "Well, you gonna tell me?" You know, and I still wouldn't tell her. I just be crying and stuff. So, okay. So fast forward back to when I just wanted to let y'all know that little backstory, like what was going on with me internally. And that was showing on the outside, like there were signs. I just don't think people was picking up on them. And so pay attention to y'all kids. All them kids that be acting out, y'all be thinking have ADHD and need Ritalin and all of that. Talk to them kids. Talk to them kids. That's it. But she was like, now this is what broke my heart, because I went to tell her what happened, and I remember her saying like, "You gonna get me in trouble. You gonna get me in trouble, man. You can't be doing that stuff. What is wrong with you? You gonna get me in trouble," and all of this. And I remember went to go tell her something else that I think he had done or something to me. And she was like, "Don't tell it now." Don't tell it now. I will never forget that. I will never forget that. That rang in my ears as fresh as the day it was said to me. Don't tell it now. It was like saying, like, I don't want to hear it now. You should have been said. You know how that feel when you were a kid and you've been waiting for the day for somebody to set you free from a situation that's been complete torturous, and you try to get it out to say what's going on, and they completely say, Don't tell it now. I get it, this is your son. I get it, you're his mother and you want to protect him. But at this point, I'm your daughter. And I'm younger than him, and you should be wanting to protect me too. But I feel like she was more concerned with protecting herself. So I know it never was reported, because we would have got moved out of the house. We would have probably got removed. And we stayed there many years later after. So it stopped. His molestation and harassment, it stopped for what? Hold on. Okay, y'all, I'm back. It's like 8 hours later, literally, but I had to do mommy duties. Okay. So, where was I talking about? Oh, I was saying that basically it stopped or whatever for a while. And things started seeming a little bit better because he was there he wasn't there often. He was like going a lot, and I call this the golden era, because he was going a lot, and I think he ended up getting like a job or something at like the department store, I think, at the time. So he was like going a lot, and then he was like with this friend of his that we used to go to church with his mom. So he used to always be with him, and then the other two boys used to go down south in the summer. So it used to just be like me and my sister a lot and my foster mom. And I feel like we actually had a time to kind of like bond, if you will, like for the first time, like outside of her children being around, we had a chance to kind of like get to know each other without the attitudes and the moodiness, and you know what I'm saying. And I think that we was still trying to, well, I can speak for myself, can't speak for my sister. I think we were still trying to find our place with her, because it would be times I would slip up and call her mom, and she'd be like, you can call me mom, but I could never feel comfortable doing it, you know. And one thing me and my sister always talk about is that I was a lot younger than my sister, so sometimes I think I view my foster mom differently than my sister do sometimes, because when you're younger, a lot of times it's kind of like, I think that she was like my mama at a point in time, you know, which is why I would be so like disappointed when stuff would happen, because it was like, I just wanted my mama, you know what I mean? My real mama and my foster mama, and neither one of them I felt like was available to me. You know, I was in the same house with one, I wasn't in the house with the other one, but sometimes neither one of them was available to me. You know what I'm saying? So I remember it would be nights that I couldn't sleep at all, and it was due to, like I said, I was stressed out. I was a kid, but I was stressed out with everything that was going on with me. And I remember I would get up in the middle of the night and go get, sometimes she would sleep. I don't remember why, but it was, well, I do remember why now that I think of it. She used to sleep in the living room sometimes, but that's that's her business. But I would get up, and I remember I would go lay down with her, you know, and it was just like a comfort thing, you know, because I was always afraid. And you know, it would be those moments, you know what I'm saying? Or we would go spend summers with our grandmothers, and she would come and pop up on us and pick us up and take us out to eat, and, you know, tell us that she missed us and stuff like that. So, you know, I battle, you know. Some people gonna look at this video like I'm bashing them, fine, whatever. But I still battle, because I do love her. But at times there's parts about her that I just be like, did you even love me? You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I was your foster child. I knew technically I was like a job. I was her job. But I was with you for 5 years. So it's like, it's just kind of weird, you know? Like, now it's been so many years that I just kind of don't care to ask sometimes, but it still goes across my mind sometimes. Like, I wonder, like, I couldn't imagine having anybody, not even foster, anybody, a puppy for 5 years, and it being took away from me and sent with another family, and I don't even attempt to make sure that is what the kid wants, that to make sure that they're happy and to check on them. And you know, so I feel like all it did was just confirm insecurities I had in my head about them, that me and my sister was a job, and that we wasn't their family. You know, I remember us leaving her home on our way to go to our mother's, and one of my foster brothers saying like, don't come back. Okay, I won't. But it's kind of like, damn, like, I'm okay, you know, the way I looked at it, if that was one of them, I'd be like, even when they used to go down south for the summer with their daddies, like, I kind of miss them low key, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't the same. Same vibe, I guess. My sister, I did talk to her, and she said that she would like to do a sit down with me and elaborate more on things, because sometimes two heads is better than one, and she could remember things and then her own personal perspective about this. So I'm gonna end this video here. Like I said, I'm gonna do this video in particular in 2 parts, and then I'm gonna do why we ended up, or why did I believe that we ended up in foster care in the first place. And then I'm going to do life after, and how everything I'm telling you guys about affected me long term as a wife, a mom, you know, good and bad, because I like to say that I came out of a lot of that stuff unscathed, and it actually made me a better person, made me a more aware person. And it makes you tough. It really do. It makes you tough. And like I said before, I just want to make it clear, because I know that a lot of people that like I said, I still have really strong ties to, know that family. I'm still friends with my foster family on social media and stuff like that. I don't have any like ill will towards them, but this is my experience. This is how this is all out of the eyes of a child. Children have the most innocent minds, so I don't need to like embellish or fabricate or add a little extra for views. This is everything I'm saying is this is the way it was. Okay, so I think tomorrow when I talk about it, I'm gonna come back with talking about how it was just all around becoming a preteen in foster care, and what the relationship meant for me and my biological mom when we would do visitations or be around one another, staying connected with my family, and what I felt towards my family, because my mother has 16 of them, 16 siblings, and no one was in good enough standing to take in their nieces. I could never understand that it doesn't matter now, but it's kind of like, we wasn't their responsibility. But family is family, and I just could never understand how the lack thereof of the support, even if y'all thought that it was the best thing for us not to be with our mom, and part of me, let me stop. I thank God, because although, like I said, it was not all, but I learned so many things from being with the people that I was with growing up. It instilled in me to be a lot of things, so that's gonna be what I'm gonna talk about tomorrow. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, turn on y'all post notifications so y'all can get the other half of this video. I hope I covered everything. It was probably all over the place, but I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys come back and continue to watch this all tale, this open raw series all about Shonda K. And thanks for having another day, or spending another day with Shonda K. Okay?